Seen during the African trip, President Obama and former President Bush in Dar es Salaam dedicating the memorial there, laying a wreath at the site of the terrorist attacks back in 1998. Chuck Todd, the pure politics of immigration. I mentioned President Bush because he'll speak out about this. He's been reluctant to do so. He's going to put more pressure. I mean, here you have, a Republican congressman, a conservative columnist arguing the merits of this. This is really a big debate within the Republican Party.
This is a total huge debate in the Republican Party. And the question is, does President Bush's voice enhance the argument of sort of the business wing of the Republican Party, which is the ones that are pushing to get this done, and the pragmatic wing who simply look at this issue with Hispanics and say, geez, let's just get this issue behind us? Or does he make it worse? Is how one of the reasons he's slowly gotten back into positive territory in his poll numbers is he's not gotten involved in politics. This is a step into politics. But let me tell you something else, David. White House now, they had been so confident that they were going to sign immigration reform this year. For the first time, I'm hearing that there is some doubt seeping in, that they think that maybe the House won't act. What they need is they need something to sort of force Boehner to, like, at the last minute bring it to the floor the same way that the fiscal cliff deal happened. The problem is there's no trigger at the end of this year. There isn't the end of this Congress. There isn't this. So I don't know how this happens by the end of this year, and suddenly now the White House doesn't see a path to how this happens.
Right. Fires all around them, no real second-term agenda when they have to deal with all these problems.
And immigration was going to be the one thing that they could have pointed to, and I think that conversation with John Boehner and the president doesn't have a whole well of trust in Boehner saying, hang with me, I can get this done by the end of the summer. Boehner still doesn't have the support, and you heard what Congressman Labrador has been saying. They don't have a Marco Rubio on the House side who can try to work around the edges and bring it together.
It was supposed to be Paul Ryan, but giving it.
But he's gone silent.
But you know what? Paul Ryan has never been brave on the political front. Well, but always been brave on policy, but never on politics.
There are Republican constituencies out there, the business community, et cetera, that are pushing for immigration reform. And you have to imagine that the House Republicans, even the Tea Party-backed Republicans, are going to hear from people in their districts and people from whom they raise funds.
Well, and Congressman, there is you. Someone who has been pushing, you're an immigration lawyer. You've been pushing for reform. I'll paraphrase something that you were quoted as saying in June in the National Journal, that we've got to fix the system, and that Hispanics essentially have stopped listening to Republicans. Isn't that a bigger concern than some of these policy differences that you have with David Brooks or others who would support the Senate legislation?
I actually think if we don't do it right politically, it's going to be the death of the Republican Party. If we do it right, I think it's going to be good for us. But if we don't do it right, what's going to happen is that we're going to lose our base, because we're still going to have a large number of illegal immigrants coming into the United States. And the Hispanic community is not going to listen to us, because they're going to always listen to, at this point, to the people that are offering more, that are offering a faster pathway to citizenship, all those things. So I think we lose on both grounds if we don't do it right. However, if we do it right, if we actually cut down illegal immigration by a large percentage, if we actually do it in a way that actually brings more legal immigrants to the United States. One of the problems with the Senate bill that we haven't talked about is that the non-ag guest worker portion of the Senate bill actually starts out at 20,000 guest workers per year. Think about that. I've had some congressmen say, do you mean 20,000 per county, 20,000 per state? And it's not. It's 20,000 non-ag guest workers per year for the entire United States. You're not going to cut back illegal immigration by only bringing 20,000 guest workers to the United States.